Setting up your meeting. Okay, and I think we're live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube. What's up, YouTube family?
Hello, YouTube. And I'm just going to double check. Yeah, it looks like we're on. So yeah, hello,
Awesome.
everybody.
Hello, people. Peace and love, and welcome to our second episode, Synergy Live.
Synergy Live.
With these two magnificent, unique, and loving divine beings from this cosmos. We are very, very imperfect, but so loving, right, John?
Exactly. We're beautiful souls in human form.
In human form. I have been just to kind of put it out here, like you did watch my new YouTube video, the one I just posted, where I went with my drums, with the shamanic drum.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love your drum.
Yeah. So my guide showed me the drum, and then after that, I don't know. I just have been feeling a lot the need to just be vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
Even pronunciating the freaking word is like,
yeah.
Being vulnerable, vulnerability, and like opening the floodgates to allow everything to calm down. And for me, has been this pressure of unrealistic perfection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Feel that. Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
it is like I am someone, like authentic me is this. I am, just fun. I'm very connected to my inner child. And I'm like just like the party person, like, yeah, let's go. Like I like to get everybody together, the peacemaker, like it's just but I feel that I was before, like I forgot that part of me, the part of me that my inner child that doesn't really care what other people think because I'm just having so much fun. You know what I mean?
I love that.
So yeah,
I think first of all, I love your drum.
Thank you.
I did have an experience. This a couple of years ago. A friend has a shamanic drum, and I tried. I tried it. In fact, I used it in a song. At some point I might even remember the name of the song. But it just like when you were doing that drumming, it kind of took me into it very quickly. Just takes me into a trance. Like I just feel like I'm like dancing around a fire, or I have been dancing around the fire, and now I'm sitting, and it's like this pulsing wave of energy that just like that you just become part of through the drumming. And as you change the tempo, the speed of the drumming, that it affects the frequency and the vibration of what I'm feeling. It's so magical, and it also made me think that I think I read a couple of days ago, the key to your dreams, the key to achieving your dreams is in your daily routine. And of course that appeals to me a lot because I'm so, one of my strengths and weaknesses is my daily routine. And I feel like trying something that you've done before or trying something new, just a little bit of it every day. I've been trying to do handstands for a long time, for about 3 years, but only the last few days have I realized that I've just been doing it wrong. And today I was like reverse, kind of backwards, going up against the wall, my feet up against the wall, and with my face kind of upside down facing the wall, and with hilarious consequences. Like I can do it for a little while and then I fall over. But it's like that was for me, it's like just trying something new, being inspired by others. It was super fun. Like I love that part. And always such a perfectionist. I always feel like I should look at all these people that I follow a lot of people, like people that do yoga, etc. on social media. I'm like,
Yeah.
these people are just like superhuman to me. How do they
I
do
know.
it?
I know.
But I love that, you know, they didn't do it overnight. And I love that, you know, trying something new, exploring, trying not to be a perfectionist from the start. Like,
This is
if you do something enough, if you really want to do it, you'll just get better by itself. And you don't always get better in the way that you expect, because it's very easy as a human to just think, I want to do handstands like them, but you're never going to do their handstand because you're not them. You're going to do your own, and it's going to be likely even more magical than you thought it was. Or often is the case from the universe, it's like, it's not the handstand you're actually going to do at all. It's like, it's
yeah.
something else. It's something else on the journey. Like, I don't know, maybe I should just be doing some yoga videos. Like, it's just like, it's all these other things that come along while you're kind of opening that door and exploring and not obsessing about the perfection, is when the universe can kind of come and say, hey, here you go.
Yeah. I think I mean everything that we're talking is about being vulnerable, being humble enough to even live our day-to-day lives and going after our lives with a different approach. It's all about
Yeah,
those beliefs and identities, right? And also about comparing ourselves to others. I feel like a lot of us star seeds, like we have been going through these cycles where we haven't understand that a true spiritual person, it's someone who has understand the spirituality, and day to day how you live your life is this one you do. But become fanatics and we get fixated again. We like to place ideas and we just put them in here. So if I'm not writing songs, if I'm not doing yoga, if I'm not doing this, so I'm not being spiritual, right? When
yeah,
in reality, experiencing time with your friends, with others, and being someone who just being fun and kind, just being a good listener, that's being spiritual, cleaning the freaking dishes and not bitching about it and complaining and
yeah,
whining. And just being like, okay, I'm gonna do everything with my best effort because I'm grateful because I just had this meal, or it's just like it is that it's like that came to me, that message last week when I heard Spirit that a lot of us struggle with understanding the spirituality is what you do every freaking day without dismissing anything. It's just rolling the freaking trash to the curb, man,
yeah,
without making faces. And it's just like, it's just finding joy in everything that you do, releasing the expectations of perfection, releasing, the judgment of things are black and white, and just being like, it's just being that voice that is supportive towards you and everything that you're doing.
yeah,
And because in reality, we talk about doing yoga, and I'm not a yogi, and I know what you mean, like trying new poses. I'm like, I cannot freaking do that, man. And
yeah,
then, I mean, am I going to compare myself? I'm not saying, with someone who had been practicing for years and then me that, I do it sometimes. Um, but I just put in the effort and just watching some videos and going in a class and just allowing yourself to freaking just do it because, you're feeling called to do it. And it's like you're showing up for yourself and you want to try something new.
yeah,
That's freaking being spiritual. That it is being vulnerable. I mean, how many people do not go to a class? The first thing they said, they're afraid because they never done it. And
yeah,
what are they afraid over?
yeah,
People criticizing them and watching them and place judgment, right? That they suck and they're not good, blah blah blah. Because in reality, a lot of all this that we see too, it just portrays people that are freaking super. They're teachers. They have decided to do that. Um, and I don't know, and I feel like all of us, like us as humans, we just have these ideas. We play those ideas in our heads, these expectations, and we do not enjoy our lives because we live like that. Yeah.
So true. I'm just going to say a quick hello to everyone in the chat. So we have Stephen Rock, Scott Murphy, Annette Eisenhower, Emoji King, and have I missed anyone? No, I think that's it so far. So thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys.
They're on a delay, so but the chat's live, so that confused me. But yeah, thank you for so much for coming along, everyone. Yeah, there's this really funny story I heard. I can't remember where it's from. It was from, like, I think it was a Medium, and they were talking about that they were talking to like someone's relative that had passed on, and they said, when is the best time for you to communicate with your relative that's passed on? And the relative said, this is the dead relative says, when they're on the toilet. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, it's like literally it's the only time they might be on their phone, but most of the time they're not. It's the only time that they take a break and they have a breath and they actually step outside of their, you know, their day-to-day routine, and it's the perfect time. Which I thought was quite funny, like to the point of what is spiritual and what isn't. It's like, it's everything, right? And like I wouldn't pick up my water and go, is it spiritual water? I mean, it's kind of in a spiritual container because it's copper, but it's like the other example I had is I went for a dog walk today, and I've been trying out podcasts while I go for a walk, and like speaking them, and this is a new challenge for me, like taking on something new but not doing it every day. It's like, can you do that, John? Like, can you try something new and not obsess about it totally? And so I've just been doing it some days, and I just wait until lunch because I work at home, and then when lunch break comes, I just pause for a second before I pick up my little microphone in my phone, and I think, today, yes or no? And sometimes it's a yes. And so sometimes I just pick it up and go. And when it's a no, like today it was a no, when I was walking out in nature, all these things started coming back to me. Like I was walking through the woods and I was getting like all these downloads like, John, remember to try your telekinesis, your air kinesis. Like, you need to practice. It's not going to happen staring at your phone, right? You've got to like go out into nature again and try these things. This is why sometimes it's good to share in a podcast or on YouTube. And other times it's good to live, like to be that soul in that human form and experience these magical things, these magical times.
Yeah, it is. I mean, all I'm hearing from you, like divine masculine energy, young masculine. I have to go, I have to produce, I have to do and like always do things, and then it burn out. You know what I mean? And then the freaking frustration because you're like, I just did all of that and just nothing is happening, right? And how beautiful is when you do listen and to your divine feminine that is taking you chill out, because your divine feminine is the one that's intuitive and is the mother energy, right? So said, John, it's okay. John, take it easy, enjoy the walk, be present. It's that voice of reasoning that is telling you, you know, you don't have to kill yourself doing all these things, and you have the right to enjoy the freaking sunshine, to just watch your dog going poop, whatever the hell, you know what I mean? Like staring at a flower or noticing someone who just passes by you and is like smiling, but it's that overdoing things. And I mean, I am right there with you because my divine masculine was so messed up. Again, doing and doing. And another way of not dealing with the emotional stuff is doing and doing things too, right?
Yeah.
And now they talk about like trying new things, like this fight of wanting to stay in the comfort zone and then the new things, right? All the excuses we make for like the new thing. It's just insane how your ego is gonna make all these excuses for you to not do anything. You know your intuition is guiding you, but then you just keep procrastinating about trying something different.
Yeah.
And again, I feel that a lot of that is because we are fearful of not succeeding in what we want to accomplish, right? Again, like those
Yeah.
expectations. Like I don't like me. I remember when I was like 20 something, and
Yesterday.
I wanted to take a couple of weeks ago, and so I wanted to play guitar. I always wanted to play guitar. I bought myself the guitar. I was in Costa Rica. I got my scarf for bohemian looking. You know, I'm going to my classes, and then I got there and I got my guitar. And like, okay, I'm ready. Let's go, right? And then they're like, look at your guitar. You have to understand it. Blah blah blah, and then do the ting 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 ting. And I just remember I was like, come on, man. Like I didn't come here to ting 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 anything. You know, I saw myself just like dancing roses, man, like let's freaking do this. Like but it's just that for me it's very difficult. That I want to try new things, but it is because I get impatient. And
Yeah.
I want to get it fast. And like, how can I just make things happen like this?
That's right.
Yeah,
It's so true.
my masculine.
Because we're programmed as well, like in a Western society to if the analogy of building a house, it's like you want to have that house, you got to build it yourself. You got to work so hard, you're going to lay every brick. And the harder you work and the more you work, the more hours you work, the more beautiful the house is going to be. But the reality is what we're learning, right? Which is if you stop building the house and you take a break, something magic is going to happen. And you're like, what? Like, what's going to happen? Like, is God going to build the house for me? He's going to like come along with a big hand and like put down the bricks. It's like, well, maybe, or maybe like someone else will come along and put some bricks down because they want some help with their house and they'll do some of yours first. Or maybe you'll realize you don't want as big as a house, or maybe you realize you don't even want a house. And or you'll go away and learn how to build houses like 10 times faster and come back and realize that this is a totally different way you want to do it, or you want to live in a van that has wheels. And so you never think like, well, I never used to think like that until yeah, more recently when I've realized, like this weekend, for instance, I did
Last
nothing.
weekend.
Yeah, I just like
I just realized it 2 hours before this meeting.
Yeah, I just had a long, like I even slept for about 2.5 hours on Sunday afternoon, which I never do. And it's like, so this is great. Like just it and as a result of that, I felt so good coming into this week. And it made me realize when you feel this good, like to your point, like why would I keep pushing against things? You know, the perfect song will come in its own time. I'll try something new most days, but not latch onto it. And I'll just let go of the things that just look like, you know, they're a bit of a waste of time, and try and leading by example. Like it's great putting yourself out there and saying, hey, I'm like this spiritual musician guy. Whoops, I've just dropped my mouse. But I'm like this guy and I do all this great stuff. But like it's so important to practice what you preach as well, and to say, you know, yeah, I have the areas I'm growing in as well. Like a big thing for me as well has been like kind of bring your shadow along to the game as well, right? Show your shadow. Maybe that's why I'm in black today. I don't know. Black with white and love. But I feel like the more you can kind of surface your shadow and then listen to others' reaction to it, you know, like I still talk about lack. I was talking about lack in my podcast, and I feel like I'm close. I'm almost there, but I'm just gonna keep talking about it and keep surfacing it until it's really gone. You were, I think, was it your video? One of your videos you were talking about martyrdom.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love the like oh, poor me, Jon Binnie, I write a song every day and everyone ignores me type
Yeah.
mentality, you know. But, you know, here, and there's some beautiful people here in the chat, in fact, all of them, you know, who are such massive supporters. And like, that's quite offensive to them, right? It's an offensive feeling. And I want to, you know, I want to be so grateful and have so much gratitude for all that I receive in ways that I never expected. And it does not feel like a martyrdom. It feels like an absolute honor to be on this journey.
That's, I mean, everything that you just said is beautiful and it's powerful, and thank you, because I think it is the same for all of us. I mean, like you said, now it is crazy, like integrating my channel, right? Like I hear, I it was so hard for me to take criticism, right? Someone or like I did something, it's like I do everything so from my heart, right? But if you comment in one little thing, for me, cooking, I'm huge at cooking. I love cooking, and that's how I learned since I was a kid to, like, you know, my way of expressing. And so, man, you do say, oh, it's great, but there's a little bit salty. I mean, I can hear my shadow. You know better. That's embarrassing. Look, I mean, just so sad.
Yeah.
So sad. And so, I mean, thank goodness I had been honoring all this shit to the fact that I was, it's just like you said, like poor Jonah, like poor Nela. She grew up poor, she didn't have a father. Poor Nela, she doesn't have this, doesn't have that. Poor Nela, she has worked so hard on all these videos, and look how many people are just listening. Just talk. I mean, come on, you get the people who are supporting you. Like I feel like everybody who's listening, we're gonna listen, like we know each other in a way, like we're connected, right? And I'll be like focus on what I'm not getting. Again, why are we focusing what we're not getting? It's like it's in everything that's happening to teach us this, to teach us, right? That to notice all this, how we just go is like my fault, right? The martyrdom and the self-pity and the negative self-talk. It just freaking sucks. It is sad. And now I just, every time I don't really hear that anymore, you know, me, Nela talking to me. And now if I hear something, you know what I do seriously, like I'm just putting some makeup and I just right away start saying something like, thank you, I hear you. No. And then that's it.
Yeah. I just accidentally closed the chat. They're still there. Yeah, while you were saying that, I heard, you know, we put a lot of expectations on ourselves as we enter like new gifts, right? So like when I started darkness clearing and healing last summer, I was like, who's going to teach me? Like, what is this? Is this exorcism? Like, do I watch movies? Like, what do I do? And it made me think of like when you're talking about, you know, learning guitar. Like when you first saw Jimi Hendrix play guitar, like I can't remember how old he was. He was like really young. It's like I suspect he was terrible, right? And when you look at the very first time someone tries something, it's probably their worst. And what's amazing is just like, you know, learning an instrument, like you can, I was self-taught on you know, guitar. I guess I had a couple of lessons at school, but I didn't really enjoy it much. I learned clarinet instead of guitar, and then learned guitar later. But I feel like learning a new instrument or just trying something new, when you're trying to develop a spiritual gift, this is a new world, right? No one's really done this before, and you can try and put yourself in a bit of a box. You can say, well, am I a psychic? Am I a medium? Am I this or that? And it doesn't actually help you. Like what's really helpful is to realize that what you're doing is you're stepping into a whole new world. You're stepping into a new world that you're creating, where your gift is unique, and it's bigger than lightly you can imagine, and lightly very different compared to what the world is used to expecting. And so when we see lots of people on social media who turn up and say, hey, I'm like this thing, and you're like, ooh, what's that? what do they do? It's very easy to believe that like they were born like that. They've always had this gift, but there's a lot of us that are just stepping into these gifts now. And I had someone recently I did a reading for, and they said in their reading, their guides were saying, you know, practice your gift. They had a healing gift. It's like practice it. Practice. Start on your friends. Start with your like people close to you, and then start to branch out. You'll learn on the job. And I keep hearing that with my work. Is like you will learn as you do it. And it's also a great reason for not waiting, right? You can't wait for that someone to come along and teach you all of it. Anyway, you can do some things. Like I've heard of some people like going into Reiki or you know, other things first before they kind of expand their own gift. But yeah, for me, like learning on the job is a great way of just being able to develop yourself without fear of you know, having an expectation of what it's going to be like in the longer term. It could branch out into so many different ways.
Yes. So I kind of, all right. So I'm sharing my story, right? So when it comes to gifts, so we are multi-dimensional, right? For me, a lot of them have been revealed, and so the thing that we're doing as starseeds, what the divine is asking us is, this is a journey of remembering and then tapping into all our multidimensional selves and downloading the codes for those to integrate here, for us to make use of everything. And it's 2:12 right now here in the United States. But okay, so so for example, I have already seen, and I see him a lot of times. I have two of them that are dancers. One is a he, and the other one is a bailarina, like a ballet ballerina. So there's two of them. So I have always loved music. I always loved dancing. Of course, I was born in Costa Rica, so like a lot of music for me, and that's like my passion. But when it comes like dancing, I remember when I was a kid, I would tell my mom I wanted to be a backup dancer. Okay. Yeah. Now you see what I do, all the dancing. Okay. Yeah. What I'm trying to tell you is that I already, because I have already seen them, I watched them perform and dance. And so I have already integrated the gift of light language, like the Shiva, which I want to share with, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I did it today.
That's beautiful.
And thank you. So this is it's going to help people with their, I'm getting the message right now. It's all about helping everyone to integrate and embrace their artistic side, because we are here to express ourselves in many different ways. So the thing when it comes to doing new things is that we must follow the message, like from when we were kids, the things that we like, we have to try it. Then while you are practicing and you start to remove the expectations, right? The core beliefs that are negative, you remove the expectations, the self-criticism, the comparison. That moment you do that, you're breaking with the karmic cycle and you are opening a space for the new life codes, for the codes of your multidimensional self, who is, for example, the singer.
Yeah.
That sits right now somewhere else. And you are just tapping into that energy. So you're not separated. it is, but there's this magic, this marriage that needs to happen, because the moment that you are embracing that multidimensional self, that part of you, then the marriage happen and there is a union and you are helping him or she. See what I mean? Then I have seen men, not just the dancer, but I also have seen the shaman in me. The one who that is inside it's a pilot. Let's call it a pilot.
Yeah.
Then the ones that is a DJ. It's a freaking DJ. And no wonder why I love doing this, like being in public. Like I always wanted to be on TV and like, just be like music and stuff. So I am. And then I was born a Gemini, so Mercury, it's all about informing. I am a manifester. It's all about my throat chakra.
Yeah.
So when you start to practice new things and you start to remove those core beliefs and you allow yourself to try and follow the guide, and then the integration will start to happen. And then that moment you open up a space for you to connect with, it's like they're going to reveal to you.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
You're like, as you start describing that, I just had this kind of rush of energy. So let me explain what happened to me today. Where do I start?
Keep talking. Yes, just keep talking.
And it does feature that. So many months ago, I had I think it was a dream where I was on a Galactic Federation ship, and I've been in them many times, and I've seen one in this 3D world as well, which is amazing. It was huge. But in the dream, or I guess let's just say it happened.
Dream, but yeah.
So I go into this little kind of shuttle, like a small spaceship, like just me. And I'm sat outside the huge ship. So I'm sat in this little spaceship, and lots of the people on the ship were staring at me. And I thought at the time that I was going through an experiment. They were going to see what was going to happen to me. And what happened was this kind of this huge symbol, like the circle in your drawing, opens up in space in front of us. And it's like an activation portal. I didn't know that at the time. And it started sending this energy through. And I went through this, like, I don't know, I just remember seeing like almost like cosmic rays flying through me, like, when astronauts have like cosmic rays and they go through the spaceship and then through their eyelids and hit the backs of their eyes, like they see like sparkles. I haven't been to space physically, but it was that experience. And I was thinking, why are they doing this to me? Like, why me? But today, I just watched a video from Kim Burkiss, and she and Kim had said, make sure you keep doing sun gazing. And so I sat down at my desk this morning, and the sun was shining through so strong. So I sat for a second. I just remember, like, my guide was telling me, you have 2 minutes, John. Everyone has 2 minutes. I was like, okay. So I sat for 2 minutes, and literally I was taken back to that moment in time where I was on that ship, little shuttle, with your big activation portal in front of me, and I could hear, feel one of the people watching me from inside the ship, and they had their hands like against the glass, like
probably
the
me,
man.
Ship.
Yeah, and I think they were doing this with their fingers, like the symbol 2, and they were so honored, and they were crying because they said, we're watching John's activation. This is his graduation. We're watching, and then I realized that this activation that was coming through like space and time wasn't just affecting that one version of me. It was affecting every dimension of me all at the same time. And that there was a version of me that had happened to in the past, which is why it felt like a dream. That was one version of me. And this version now is like this yeah, this version that's experiencing it, but also like suddenly getting it all. Like it's almost like all the aspects of me like coming, like you're describing, like coming to one and realizing there is it's like, yes, it's an upgrade and yes, it's an activation, but it's also the awareness of the expansion of your consciousness that it like touches every
That's what it
dimension of
is.
you.
And
Yeah.
on all of it, and all of them are being affected. I mean, I cannot lie to you. I also I gave birth again. And I felt the baby again, and I saw him getting out, and I saw the doctors getting it out, and I was here there, and I was in so much pain here with her. You know, another part of me. Then there another one that is a little girl, and she loves her teddy bear, but she's a lot of times lonely in her room, and like she hides. And I mean, I can just go on and on, right? What I'm trying to say is like, I mean, this information really, you really need to sit in with it. You know, I feel like people who are listening to the video, it's true. Now, everyone is in different levels. And what I'm getting is like, things are gonna start moving forward for a lot of star seeds when they stop watching others doing and they understand that they have to do it themselves.
Yeah.
I remember when I used to compare myself, and I did it a lot, and I was, because you know, and the moment I said, how is this me watching others live their life and practicing and doing, how is this freaking moving me forward?
Yeah.
It's that moment you have to freaking like sit with things and say, okay, what's up? You're bitching here, you're whining, feeling sorry for yourself, you're here comparing yourself to others. What are you doing? What are you doing? Your phone, feeling it's too.
Yeah.
Right now I'm feeling sorry for myself.
Better than me, better than me, better than me.
Better than me. I didn't stop. I didn't do this before.
Yeah, it's amazing.
This is another one that I got from Neptune, and it's all about, it's an activation, and it's 1010 for higher perspective.
I love that.
It's Neptune energy, and right now we're being supported by Pisces, like the Neptune energy. But the messages is that the moment that you tell yourself it's time to grow up, like stop it, stop it. The divine is telling you from many ways and from many people, give yourself a chance to try new things. Release the expectation. Do it. Take 25 minutes of your day. And do you want it to become a painter? Do you want it to play a music instrument? Do you want to be a chef? What is it? Whatever the hell it is, go and take some time and do it. And share it with the world. You don't have to share everything. Can you share it with the world? Why? Because that's going to help you integrate and get rid. I mean, how do I feel now when I see my art? When I went from doing nothing, I would not even try because I was so afraid to fail. Like I didn't believe that it was possible for me to be a channeler. When I started to write light language, what did I do? I said, I freaking want to do it. I asked, I prayed, and I start to listen to light language activations. And I start one day, I start doodling. And one day I listened to an activation of masculine and feminine energies from Isis and Osiris. And this lady was singing, and why not? And then I start going, I made a spiral of light language. I don't know where, in like a freaking less than 5 minutes, I did it, and that was it. But what is like, take the steps, stop bitching, release the expectations, make the time, and you have to trust people like us who are here telling you that yes, it's possible. That's a required commitment, yes. But we are mirrors. If I can do it, you can do it. It is about making that decision to stop bitching and more doing and practicing. And I guess taking a leap of faith and getting out of the comfort zone like yours, right? I mean, I wanted to do this for so long, but I was so insecure because of my accent. And again, one of my lessons is being imperfect for some reason. You know what I mean? Because I'm very sensitive to criticism. So even when I'm drawing and I see a line and it's bad, I'm like, that's hurting me, man. And now I just make it, I just like, it's okay. It shows that you're human. So how can we just switch into it is okay? Yes.
Yeah, it's so important. That's absolutely beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing that. It's like showing you're human is so important, right? Like it was about a week ago. I wrote a song, and then I thought, I know, I'll spend all day making the best video possible. I don't think the video was amazing, and then after like hours and hours of creating it, and then 3 days later, I noticed that the sound was only at 20% instead of 100%, and it's like, so that's my message. It's like, John, that was a waste of time. It was good that you learned that you shouldn't invest so much time with diminishing returns, but it's a lesson. Say, that's not really the right way of spending your effort. Just go. I do feel like I'm on a journey more now of exploring different things, and trying to remember all the things I've been doing, like the podcasts I found amazing. Like if you'd said to me, I don't know, 6 months ago, hey John, try podcasts. Like, is it because I'm ugly? It's like, don't you want to see my face? And then I tried it, and I was like, I can walk in nature and talk without any distractions, and just engage with the stream of consciousness, and that flows through me, and be human and spiritual and everything in between all at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was just beautiful. And it's like, why didn't I try this before? This is fantastic. And then also like playing outside in public, like I became this hermit. And it's like, oh, the hermit has to get out. And I knew it, like my guides were like, John, get out. Like, and it literally got to the stage when I was on holiday. It's like, you're going out in the wind and rain, you're going down onto the local harbor, and I dragged my son down, and it was like, he filmed me, and it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, there's no good excuse for avoiding your kind of your fear. Step through your fear, and because just on the other side of it is this beautiful new thing for you to try. And I also signed up for like I have it's kind of like a gig in April, but I'm like going to a pub and you play in a big circle of musicians for about 4 hours, which is terrifying to the hermit version of me, because it's like, but there's so many people and they might be drinking alcohol, and what will it be, a spiritual
even better.
circle of people?
It's even better.
And it's like,
they're drinking. They're
exactly.
Like, yeah, man.
Yeah. And I was thinking, what will I sing? And I came up with the perfect idea. I'm literally just going to make up all the songs that night. And so I'll just like, because you take it in turns to do a song, and I'll just make up a song each time it's my turn. And I thought, because I want to explore like doing something in front of others that both I'm not used to and they're not used to, but also overcoming that fear is like, I would just prepare so much. I practiced for weeks and weeks, and like these 6 songs, and like think that when I turned up, to play music, that it had to be perfect. And I want to show like, just, whatever comes through, I can just do it. So sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole, but yeah, I definitely want to try more things.
And I'm just like getting messages. I feel so. This is a beautiful freaking journey, and a lot that we are doing right now is overcoming past cycles of karma where we haven't take a leap on our faith, take a leap of faith in ourselves, right? We are overcoming all these old programs and core beliefs, all this, and for us to do that, it takes us making the commitment and taking the steps. Even though what you're gonna end up doing, John, is not gonna be what you're expecting. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like we are going through this process where like I bought tarot cards and I start doing, drama, the dancing, the music videos, so like all these parts of me they want to just express, right? Now, before I was kind of fixated, but then I created again this space and I said, right now what I'm doing is overcoming all this freaking BS and all these old beliefs and all this cycle, so karma, and I'm just, I'm expanding, and I know myself. I am not a person to be inside a box. I get bored.
Yeah.
If I can tell you I'm gonna just be doing readings every day, I cannot do that. You know what I mean? Can I do it? Do I know how to do it? Am I becoming better on channeling? It is helping me with, it's like everything that I have been doing is helping me so much, unlocking my creativity, getting inspired, communication. So I feel like everything that we're doing is for a reason, and same for you. When you say, oh, I'm going to go to this place and I don't know. And for me, it's like, what is more beautiful in this freaking world than when you see someone who is humble, when you can feel someone who's humble enough to sit there and make a joke and be like, I've been in hermit mode and I came here with no plan, but you know what? So that's like taking a leap and knowing that the divine, that part of you is gonna show up in the moment, and that you're gonna just start channeling pure divine love and music and sounds, and people are gonna feel the honesty. So you know what I mean? Like that's I cannot wait, beautiful. Because I know that that's exactly what's gonna happen, because magic happens. It's like the divine is saying, take a leap of faith and we will show up for you.
Yeah.
A lot of times what we all are doing is channeling. We're instruments. So we also have to get rid of that freaking, the egoic mind, that is like, I am doing this. No. When you just come back here and you realize that you are like an antenna, or an avatar, like you are serving as an instrument for divine healing. How that gonna be expressed is unique for everyone. But take the leap of faith on yourself, and the divine, your guides are gonna show up for you. The moment you just trust. Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. And thank you for sharing it. It's like just creating that space. Like just it's like I feel like there's so many things we can do, like just go out and into nature. It can be grass or trees, or just go and touch a tree or whatever, and just like or a walk wherever you are, and you're just creating space. Like you just go there without intention to have a divine masculine, like I must do this, I must like walk for 30 minutes at this speed. It's like, no, just go there and listen and receive. And this is when the magic happens. This is when because the universe isn't screaming at you, right? It's like hey, it's like a whisper, like our guides talk to us. It's very quiet. And what's beautiful is to I love that humility as well is incredible. It's like this surrender moment. Say, okay, I'm ready. I'm receiving. uh, I also I felt I was getting downloads today about the world changing, and we know the world's changing. We know it's energetically changing, and there's a lot going on in the physical world. But starting with the energies, those two things I heard. One was that as the veil lifts, so much more will be visible and experienced. Like, everyone experiences the energies regardless of their awareness of them, but they will see them, they will experience them, and they will be affected by them. And so those people that have had any experience with energy will suddenly become very valuable, because you will be able to help your friends, your family, your town, your streets, the people around you, the people around the world. And the second thing I felt, and I'm getting like big tingles down the back of my neck, is as there are changes, there's a lot of conflict in regions of the world right now. And as that was happening, there was this massive counter wave of love, like this huge energy, like flowing around the world, rushing in towards this space of this conflict. Yeah. And it's just and helping show the truth and the light and the humanity. And I keep getting, like, in my daily meditations, I keep getting the same message, which is there is a spark of divinity in every single heart and every living thing. And if you reach out and you touch that in every living thing, you can just expand it a little bit, you can grow it a little bit. And if you do that to every single living thing on this planet, like it changes the world and it changes the reality. So, but yeah, going back to the first part, which is like, I do feel that big energetic shift. And but those times when we're worried about lack and we're looking at others and comparing ourselves to others, when you remember really why you came here, why you came to this planet, and why you came to do this, what for many of us relates to energy work, it's like, this is really where your gifts, it's time to practice them, it's time to explore, to receive, to feel, give them space, let them mature, let them activate, because the world is going to need you very, very quickly. We need you now.
Now, the world is needing everybody right now.
Yeah.
And what we need, I mean, when it comes to stuff like that, I never post anything. I don't pick sides. Like, it's like higher perspective. Like, I have surrendered to understanding that what is happening is serving a higher purpose. I have listened to the news and I have seen many things, right? A lot of dark. But I notice people who haven't seen in 20 years, meeting for first time after 20 years and hugging each other. People leaving their freaking jobs and taking food and getting a backpack and saying, I am fucking going, I don't know if we can curse, I'm freaking doing it, and I'm gonna go basically and see my mom that maybe I haven't seen in 10 years, so maybe stop talking to her.
Yeah.
I just think of people, and I'm gonna tell you something. I survived a pretty heavy earthquake when I was a child in Costa Rica. Like, I saw everything falling apart and people dying in buildings, and the earth was opening and there was volcanoes coming out and people screaming and praying and pulling my skirt, and like people with desperation and fear the loudest. And so, of course, it's not war, but I've seen how I remember, because I noticed when I was a kid, like, I noticed there a lot of unity that came out. And like I said before, and after the mess, the rebuilding happens.
Yeah.
is in the foundations so they were not as strong, didn't survive. And yes, there were losses, but there was so much gain because there was like this rebuilding of this town where I grew up, of the cities, a city in Costa Rica. So this is kind of what I'm using. You know, it's huge. What's happening is huge, and yes, there's a lot of chaos, but there's a lot of more like deeper stuff happening that is gonna serve a huge purpose. You know, like it is like not necessary, because human beings have to understand that we can learn through joy and love and gratitude, and not through freaking, you know, madness. That's something that must change. You know, you start to see when things like this happen to a lot of people choosing, picking and choosing. A lot of people complaining. They sit and they watch the news for hours and hours, but which one is making a call and saying, hey, I would like to make a donation for $200 to help the people back there? How many people are doing it? Couple? But a lot of them are posting videos and complaining and giving their opinions and their judgment, and texting the messages forwards in groups and like choosing, you know, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? So you know, this is who I am. This is who I am. I just go like, and I think about the higher perspective, the bigger picture, and like it shows the people who really care, the people don't care, the people who's always there just seeing things and talking and talking and talking all day. There's the light, there's the darkness, there's, like I said, there's going to be a process where I feel like the universe is, you know, everything has to come into a surface. Same with us, right? All that darkness, all the hidden truths have to show up, and it's going to slap us, and it's painful and it's sticky and it hurts. But that's what's happening for me around this freaking world. Everything has to come into a surface. And of course, people who challenge the world to change, and people who want to freaking break with old cycles are going to be sometimes the bad people. So there's a lot that I question, my dear John. You know what I mean? Are you getting what I'm saying? This is people think black and white. No, this is not black and white. At least not for me. I got very intense about that because I'm like, I have so much to say, but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah,
you can tell.
I love that, and you know the themes for me that come through are unity. You know, and how do you what is the journey to unity? And it is exposing the reality of the illusion of duality. Like, you know, it is there. You can have, you know, battles and wars, and this has been going on in the universe for forever, right? But there is a balance, and even darkness and light have a balance, and they are just two sides of the same coin. And what, like you say, who donated today? I donated today, and I was thinking, what else can I do? Like, in my morning meditation, and I now meditate at night before bedtime with my son. At the end of both of my meditations each day, I just send a wave of love to that area, and to every heart that's in fear right now, I just send you unconditional love. And I think what's coming up now is, like, I grew up with it in the 80s, right? Which is just like this. It was a climate of fear. It was fear on an industrial scale, in that it you know, I now understand it. Like, I now understand that, you know, you can harvest fear from you know, humans, right? We're great at being like fear batteries and generating fear, and then you can kind of feed off that energy, that negative energy. But at the same time, you realize there's a really simple answer, and the answer is in that love. It's in the unity, in the forgiveness. And when when you realize that the world doesn't need to be a place with such, you know, heavy divides and a sense of lack and warring and obsessing about the differences in groups of people, when actually the differences are in all of us individually, but together we are one human race, one planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen, you know, I've seen some people, you see it on, I think the other big thing is you see a lot of people being very human on social media. Like, I'm going there, I'm packing my bags, I'm going tomorrow, or I'm leaving, or I'm standing here and showing you out the window on a phone that's probably the same as yours, in clothes that's probably the same as yours, speaking in your language, saying, why do we pay for this stuff? Like, who bought these like planes and bombs, and, you know, who's paying for all that? We are. And then, like in Scotland, we have these nuclear submarines just on the west coast. They're like quite old. I think they're like 50 years old. I used to sail on the west coast of Scotland as a kid, and we'd sail around them. They're huge, like 100 meters, big nuclear submarines, and they cost billions and billions. And can you imagine if someone came to you like tomorrow, like came to your door and said, "I've got good news. I'd like you to invest some money in," and you're like, "Yeah, what is it? Is it like world hunger, or like helping the homeless, or helping people follow their dreams?" No, I've got a better idea. It's like these big submarines. And like, oh no, really? And I think that's a lot of things that's coming up to the surface, right? It's making us realize that this is not something that you can just hide away and say, well, we're all going to be like super spiritual and love and light, and then still tolerate the kind of weaponization of the entire planet. And it's like, they're not going to coexist very well. And so I love that kind of truth aspect, and really helping bring that part of that. It is a kind of background fear that many people have, but they're not always conscious of it. And even just the act of kind of weaponizing yourself or your country is a fear, an act of fear. You know, if you were truly the bravest human or the bravest country in the world, like, what's braver than to have no weapons? No physical weapons. And I think now's the time for that unity aspect and to come through, and also the humanity, like, in everybody to really step forwards.
Yeah. Like I said, like, we can just go here deep into this. Is bigger than what's happening and you can only meet people at their own level of consciousness, and awareness. So it's very difficult to like touch everybody. How I see, like I said, is there's a bigger picture, there's a higher perspective. There's a lot that need to come into the surface. There's people suffering in both sides. I don't say, like you can choose to help and be quiet about it. I mean, I don't feel like creating more resistance. We cannot resist what's happening. Resistance only create more resistance, right? Yeah. So it's like surrendering to what's happening, but how can you just tell people, people who are not awake yet, they cannot understand. And it depends where you are on your healing journey. You will also start sharing things and saying, because you are feeling like you have to, you are going to create resistance, right? What I'm trying to say is, like, we can just choose to, like I do what you do, I cover Gaia in the violet flame and people from everywhere. And I just trust and surrender that I know that there's a higher purpose to everything that's happening. I am also aware that we all are here. All of us, every single human being, have decided to experience these times. So if you are here or you are there, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
And so I know if you tell someone who's not awake what I'm saying, they're going to say I'm nuts. But if you have expanded your consciousness, you understand that what is happening is this huge space. We are all learning. and things are changing. Everything is changing. Our responsibility as humans is, can I do things differently? Can I choose to show up to the world from something different, right? If I start to share videos about the same shit, it's creating resistance, it's feeding the same. So can I do something different?
Yeah.
It is not about dismissing the sadness and the losses and all of that, no. But it is like, can I choose to show up differently? And this is what's happening to all of us in everything, in every lesson. Can you show up for yourself, for the world, for humankind differently? Now, how that looks like, it is everyone's job to realize it. I know mine, right? I live my life and I made the decision to say, I have nothing to prove. I'm not fighting anyone. I don't have to defend. I don't have to seek approval. I am the master of my own life. I'm sovereign, I'm free. And I know that, right? And I'm going to stand by that. And so I'm not going to go and just, I've been this side where I have been fighting, resisting, ready, let's go, I have to prove, I'm going to prove you. No. That only is going to create the same. That's what I'm saying, right? So
it's so true. Yeah, I feel like I totally agree. And we said it earlier in this session, is also about just holding space and letting the whilst we are being our authentic selves and we're showing up in our own way, and I love your idea of trying something different. Like I didn't write a song for any particular country. I've written songs for world peace and for unity and sending waves of love. And I feel like when we truly hold space for others, it's like for me, it's like the kind of spiritual version of listening. You're listening to their energy. You're acknowledging that it's there. You're witnessing it. You're saying, I see you. I see your truth. I see the many truths, and I feel you. I'm here in my my being my human in this space and time, and doing this in my way to help, and it's as much about receiving as it is about giving as well in these situations.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I feel that, for us to conclude with this, because we have things to do, is something, Ascended Master Gandhi said that he will never go to a anti-war protest.
Sorry, your sound is breaking up. Is it because your microphone's there?
Wait, let me see. No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Ascendant Master Gandhi.
Mm-hmm.
Gandhi said that he will never go to a protest of anti-war. Like that he would choose to go to a protest where it's about unity. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what we need to understand. Don't resist. When you get that, the resistance create more resistance. When I figure out that one out, I was like, I see.
Yeah.
So choose love over fear. Be humble enough to surrender. And if you have been living your life, if humanity has been living their life, reacting and going through life responding the same, then something has to change.
Yeah.
Okay? So don't resist. No resistance. Yeah. That's
I love
freaking
that.
beautiful. All right. It's been enlightening.
It's been fantastic. Yeah, thank you so much for this session, and thank you so much for everyone that's come along.
Thank you,
in the chat.
everyone. So much
There's
love. Thank you.
Quite a few people. I see Emoji King, Stephen Rock, Mark, Emoji Kings, and I also saw Annette, and there was someone else who I'm missing. Was it Lucy was in earlier, I think. But yeah, thanks to everyone that's been in the live chat and also who's watching afterwards. This is for you. Nell and I love coming together to chat, but we really hope that chatting like this and sharing this energy and holding space for our human experiences on our journeys are helpful to you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them into the video comments. And yeah, we'd love to keep doing these sessions, and we'd love to invite in some more people as we go through these sessions as well. So yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone, and special thanks to you, Nela.
Thank you. Thank
fantastic.
you. I feel the same way. And yeah, let's just invite people. Come on, people, join us. We would love to have people over, right?
Yeah.
For the next episode. So if you feel like that you want to share something, which I know you do, people who are listening, because we all have something to share that is important. So we just want to empower everybody. All right.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, namaste, namaste, and surrender.
Namaste.
Blessings, blessings, blessings. All right. Peace and love.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you. Sending love. Thank you. Bye.
Love.